Hello and welcome to episode 4 of One Woman and Her Garden. Today I'd like to show you two things at the end of my potential shrubbery. So if you come this way, I'll just show you the first thing. Walking down towards the end, and here we find, hiding behind Arthur Bedford, is this little shrub. Now she was here before, but I didn't introduce you to her because I didn't know her name, but I do now because I've looked her up, and her name's Okuba, and I looked her up in this book. Look at this book. It's called The Flowering Shrub Expert by Dr D G Hessayon. It's fabulous. I got it in the Oxford shop in Farnham, £1.99, absolute bargain. So Dr Hessayon, Dr D G Hessayon, knows everything there is to know about flowering shrubs. Wonderful, actually a bit of a genius, because Dr D G Hessayon also obviously knows everything there is to know about long life, because when I was a little girl, my dear old dad, who died 4 years ago, aged 96, had a book called The Lawn Expert, and it was by the good doctor himself, Dr D G Hessayon, so he must be rocking on a bit. Anyway, this is a wonderful book, and D G Hessayon is my new all-time favourite author, so roll over J.K. Rowling, because Dr D G Hessayon has a book full of wonderful magical creatures and lots of Latin names, because in the book you can find all the Latin names as well as the common names for all the garden shrubs. And on my course I have to learn the Latin names as well as the common names. So whoopee, that higher Latin that I did at school all those years ago has come in handy. Who knew it? And Mr. Wolf, my Latin teacher, would be very proud. So I have learned lots of Latin names, and in this book I have found lots of lovely creatures. One of the creatures, in fact, I'm just going to tell you about my favourite Latin name and my favourite creature. I found her in spring, and actually I found her along the edge of this woodland here, which backs onto the shrubbery. So there's a little path. I'm just going to walk up the path and show you where I found her. So if you walk up the path here, you can see the path. So just about here, on the edge of the path, I found my favourite character, and her name is Veronica Camidris. Veronica's her Latin name, and she's really lovely. She lives on the edge of the wood, lovely little woodland creature, and she wears a blue dress, and her common name is Speedwell. Now I can't show you a picture of her, unfortunately, because it's October and she's hiding until the spring. I did pick her in the spring and carefully pressed her into a lovely book made of handmade paper with a lovely Indian silk covering, and I pressed Veronica in there along with other wildflowers, but I left her on my coffee table, and Daisy the dog ate her because Daisy the dog got bored when I went out to the shops without her. Anyway, I digress. So back here to Okuba. So I don't quite know what to do about Okuba. You can see here she has got some yellow spots on her leaves. So according to D G Hessayon, she has insignificant flowers. And actually I don't know if she's a he or a she, because apparently the females produce berries, but they only produce berries if a male plant is nearby. So I'm not sure that I approve. She only puts on her lovely bright red blood rags if there's a male about. So she could be a male and she could be a female. And according to the book, there is a kind of hermaphrodite. I'm sure that's not the gardening word for it, but there is a species of these called Rosani, which bears both male and female flowers. So if you plant that, you'll definitely get the berries. So as we're in October and there's no sign of any berries, I'm supposing that this is a male. Looks a bit like a male with that spotted leaf. So I think maybe I will leave a Cuba here, because poor old Cuba, not only does she have insignificant flowers, but she doesn't even have a common name. Her Latin name is a Cuba, and that is her name as well. So it's a bit of a sad specimen. However, let's hope if I feed the soil, she'll perk up and do a little bit next year. So I wanted to talk to you about two things. So I'm going to walk down here to the end of the path, and the other thing I'm going to talk to you about is leylandi. As you can see here, I have a couple of leylandi, and at our course this week we learned how to take conifer cuttings, and what we did was we took heel cuttings of leylandi, and they're really easy to do. You just get like a branch like this, you just cut one of the leaves off close to the branch, and then you just peel off these individual little leaves along the branch. Peel them off. Can you see them all? You peel them all off, and that leaves a little heel, and it's called heel cuttings. And then quite simply you take 4 of these little heel cuttings, dip the heel in rooting powder, find a wee square pot, put seed compost in it, mix with perlite, 1 little leaf in each corner, water it in and leave it. Bob's your uncle. Keep going for 3 or 4 years and you might have a baby leylandi.